Hey, thanks for coming back to the channel. I know it's been a while, not a long while, but it's been a while since I posted my thoughts here because there's a lot going on in the self-defense Second Amendment world since Bruen. Bruen, is, if you remember, is the Supreme Court ruling that says that we have an individual right to keep and bear arms, not just guns, outside the home, in public. And the anti-gun people or anti-self-defense people are they're chewing their arms off, throwing all kinds of crazy ideas out there to see what may stick under this new ruling. What's important, though, about this ruling and what you all need to understand, and it's really earth-shaking because it identifies the cultural chasm that we have, not just in this country, but in the world. And that is this conflict between individual rights, which is what America is born on, and the public good, or the greater good. The public good and greater good are arguments that governments use to control individuals and individual rights. And I've been studying, the other reason I haven't posted, I've been studying the development, the history and the development of our Constitution. And trust me, I should have learned this stuff in school, but hey, and I am I am humbled and proud about what went on back then. What went on back then in this building with no air conditioning in the middle of the summer, and people are sweating and and they're there to get it done. They're there to get it done. They're there to create a better Constitution than what was there right after we won the war against the king. So the Constitution that we have now was not the first set of agreements among the 13 colonies. And Rhode Island, by the way, didn't play. Rhode Island didn't come to the convention because they were mad, and there was this feeling about what states have to do and why there's a need for a central government, and how do you balance that? How do you balance that? And it is that Constitution that created this notion, this beautiful notion that we have that says the states are the states, and anything not given to the federal government belongs to the states. Oh, by the way, however, any laws created by the federal government govern every state. And oh, by the way, just so people don't get stupid and crazy and somebody decides they want to take over everything, which we have had presidents try to do, we have 3 branches of government. And that was a new idea. 3 equal branches of government. And they get to fight on each other sometimes. They get to piss on each other sometimes. And that's the judicial, which is represented by the Supreme Court, by the way. The executive, which is the president and all the things that administer the government. By the way, the executive has all the government's guns. Keep that in mind. And that's why it's so important that we have these checks and balances, and that each part of the government is equal and independent. Because when you have the person that has all the administration of the government and all the guns of the government, that is too easy, drill sergeant, to create a tyrannical government. I want it my way. Now, I am not a Trump supporter, but he did some good things, but he was fucking dangerous. Dangerous, because if there were not those checks, he would be the tyrant that we are afraid of. I've said that before. Then we have the legislature, The legislature represents us. Why? Because we vote them in and we can vote them out. And you have the House and you have the Senate. And I'd like to say the children play in the House, but the grown-ups live in the Senate, right? We have people in Oregon, for example, right now, they're trying to put a voter initiative. Voter initiative, if you don't know, is when the voters get to say, we want a law, or we want to repeal a law, or whatever. And they come up to get enough signatures, and they put it on the ballot, and the rest of the people in the state get to say. Initiatives are not national. But they're trying to put in this initiative anti-gun things that will never stand up to the Bruen decision on how things get determined to be constitutional. Now, let me come back to this public interest, common good versus individual right. The Bill of Rights was originally 17. Yeah, they had 17 of them listed, and then they went to the House, and then they went to the Senate, and then they had the conference between the two organizations, and they came up with 12. So it went from 17 to 12. Then it went out to the states, in this case, the colonies, 13 states. They weren't colonies, they were 13 states. And the states have to ratify, right? So the states ratified only 10. And that is what we now have come to know and love as the Bill of Rights. Now, what's important to understand is that they didn't ratify number one, then go and ratify number two. They ratified a thing, an amendment to the Constitution that included these 10 Bill of Rights. You understand what I'm saying? So it wasn't 10 things that was added to the Constitution. It was one thing, and the one thing was the Bill of Rights. So those people said, we're going to repeal the Second Amendment. No, you're not. Because each one of those 10 is a group. To take one out, you have to remove all 10. Because all 10 were voted on as a single amendment to the Constitution. Now, that blew my mind. That blew my mind. Now, if you're a constitutional scholar and you think that I'm incorrect, hey, post it down below. But what this means in America, is that our individual right in the Bill of Rights supersedes any common good, supersedes public interest, supersedes dying babies, supersedes rampage killings in school. Why? Because you cannot remove a right from an individual because another individual committed a crime, right? Because another individual broke the law. The public interest, the public good, which is the basis in which almost every state, every court has been using to foist administrative tyranny onto individuals. And that's why there's been such this culture clash about states' rights, about individual rights, and, well, what about the common good? Well, when it comes to an individual right in the Bill of Rights and the common good, public interest, public health, public loses. Figure it out a different way. And that's what Bruen has done. Bruen has said, we don't care that there are people that don't like that individual citizens in America can be armed. We don't care. If you don't like it, there are other countries that you can go to. You can be still, but you cannot remove that right. Aggressively, those things will never stand up in court again, right? At least not in my lifetime, and I got a few years to go, right? What that means is that the individual rights that we have, all of them, including the Second Amendment, are here to stay. Trying to remove any results in the end of America as a country. And by the way, there are some people that think that should happen. Black Lives Matter, Antifa, some of the white supremacist folks that say they are being erased and therefore they need to have a different country, all of that kind of stuff. Save your Confederate money, boys, because the South will rise again. No, it's not. No, it's not. It was a lost cause then. It's a lost cause now. People that feel that way need to get a grip, because America is here to stay unless we are conquered by someone else or we destroy ourselves from within. I am an optimist. I do not believe we're going to get scrappy with each other, but we're not going to destroy this country from within. I don't care what some YouTube posters in Canada might say about us. I don't care what some people in other countries who have no chance of understanding the culture of independence that we have, the culture of being able to defend oneself under the Second Amendment, the freedom to speak, freely about the government, about anything. And government can't infringe on that. You understand what I'm saying? We are the only country in the world that has the freedoms that we have. And unless you've traveled outside the country and been to other countries and made a comparison, you wouldn't know that. Now, there are people that have traveled outside the country and they like being controlled by government, or even inside this country. They like the idea that somehow they'll be taken care of. Someone else will come and help them and protect them. I'll come back to, you are your own first responder. It doesn't matter what the situation is. You are there first. You are being affected first, and you are responsible for being able to deal with the stuff until secondary help comes. So I want to come back to this. We are a gun culture. America is a gun violent culture. Not violence is bad. Violence is necessary. We were born out of the flames of violence. And we are a free country as a result. Right? The world knows that. And sometimes we have people representing us that do stupid stuff. But at the end of the day, you do not want to wake up the American psyche and trigger the violence that is part of all of us. Because we will get busy in a heartbeat. And then it's going to get froggy. So, this was kind of a ramble, but I really want to say how important it was that we understand the basis and what that means to us. And that there are people who will continue to try to somehow infringe on that. But I am hopeful because as soon as the Bruen decision was made, this pent-up demand to be able to carry in public, the floodgates opened. And in every state where it was tamped down, they were overwhelmed. In certain counties in California, they were overwhelmed, and they can't stop it. They can't stop it now. And it's those new people who are now understand they can exercise their Second Amendment right to be a citizen, an armed citizen, if they choose to do so in this country. What does that mean? That means to me that gun control and those people that want to whine about having armed people, that's dead. That's dead. But stay vigilant. So, if you, as always, if you like the content, please subscribe. I'm 300 short of 10,000. Can somebody please give a brother 300 subscribers somewhere in the world? Please. I want 10,000 before August this year. Subscribe. When you do, hit the bell icon. Comments, please dump them down below because I read them all. I try to respond to them all, but I read them all. So, thanks for watching. And now where you can, carry on.